There is a psychological trap that catches almost everyone who dares to dream big. It is the seductive pull of public validation. We live in an era where if a goal isn't posted, liked, or shared, we feel as though it hasn't truly started. But the truth is far more clinical and unforgiving. When you announce your goals to the world, you receive a premature hit of dopamine. Your brain confuses the likes and the congratulations with actual achievement. You feel the warmth of the finish line before you've even laced up your shoes. This is the death of momentum. In today's deep dive, we are breaking down the wall between public versus private goals. We are exposing why your need for an audience is the very thing keeping you average, and how the art of the private grind is the only way to build a life that is truly unshakable. Most people are addicted to the public version of themselves. They want the title without the toil. They want the transformation photo without the months of calorie counting and heavy lifting. When you tell someone you are going to lose 30 pounds or start a multi-million-dollar business, they offer you immediate social approval. That approval acts as a phantom reward. It tricks your biological systems into thinking the work is done. This is why so many people talk about their New Year's resolutions in January, but are nowhere to be found by February. They spent all their fuel on the announcement and had nothing left for the execution. Consider the case study of Peter Gallwitzer, a psychology professor at NYU. He conducted a series of tests to determine what happens when people announce their intentions. In one study, participants were asked to state their professional goals. Half of them announced their goals to the room, the other half kept them private. Everyone was then given 45 minutes to work toward those goals. Those who kept their goals secret worked the entire time, driven by the internal tension of an incomplete task. However, those who had announced their goals quit significantly earlier. When asked why, they admitted to feeling a sense of completeness just by talking about it. This is the identity substitution effect. By talking, you have already claimed the identity of a winner without doing the winning. You have substituted the speech for the substance. The machine-like grind requires a different environment. It requires the dark. It requires the silence of a room where the only person you have to answer to is yourself. Private goals are dangerous to the ego because there is no one there to clap for you. There is no external validation to prop you up when you're tired. In the private sphere, you are faced with the raw reality of your own discipline. This is where true resilience is forged. When you work in private, you aren't doing it for the clout. You are doing it because the system demands it. You are building a version of yourself that functions regardless of the weather or the whim of the public eye. Look at the legendary strategy of the dark horse. In historical horse racing, a dark horse was a competitor that no one knew anything about, making it difficult to bet against them. In the world of high performance, the dark horse is the individual who goes into a period of total stealth. They stop posting, they stop explaining, they stop trying to convince their family and friends that they are going to be successful. They simply disappear into the work. While the public goal setter is busy managing people's expectations and responding to comments, the dark horse is gaining a massive lead in the shadows. By the time they emerge, the gap between them and the competition is so wide that it can never be closed. The biological unreliability of feeling like doing the work is amplified by public pressure. If you tell the world you are a marathon runner, and then you don't feel like running on a Tuesday, the shame of the public eye might get you out the door once or twice. But shame is a low-grade fuel. It burns dirty and it runs out fast. True discipline is built in the private moments where you choose the work simply because it is the work. You are the architect and the builder. You don't need a spectator to confirm that the bricks are being laid. Let's look at a case study of two individuals. Person posts every workout, every healthy meal, and every hustle quote to their social media. They receive hundreds of comments telling them how inspiring they are. Within 3 weeks, the engagement drops, the novelty wears off, and Person A stops going to the gym because the feeling of being an athlete has vanished. Person B tells no one. They wake up at 5 a.m., they do the work, they eat the food, and they go to bed. 6 months later, Person B walks into a room and everyone notices the transformation. Person B didn't need the dopamine of the post, they needed the result. Person B built a system, Person A built a performance. The end.